I did not send a notification out on purpose because I want to be able to focus. If too many people are on here, too many people sending me comments, I'm going to get distracted. We have a lot to get through today. Just right off the bat, you read the title, trigger warning. I'm just gonna call it a spade a spade. I'm gonna just say things based off of my experience and just how I say things, which is very matter of fact, very just in your face and point blank period. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about moving, relocating for business. If you're planning on moving permanently to the state of Arizona, specifically the Phoenix metro area, if you're coming from a big city such as Chicago, New York, and LA. So I'm originally from Chicago, born and raised, and I've recently, well, in the past few years, have traveled a lot for business purposes, and I've spent a lot of time in Arizona. So been out in the trenches. I understand a lot of things, have had boots on the ground, really in it, not just in the house. So I can tell you firsthand what my experience was like, general consensus, and then also I talked to a lot of people, both native to Arizona and also not originally from Arizona. So I have a lot of experience and I have a lot to say. It was all in here, and I said I know someone else could benefit from this because I wish someone would have told me these things so that I wouldn't have had to spend so much time figuring it out and I would have had a better game plan. So I have a long list of things to go over, and the first thing that we are going to talk about is the weather. Okay, it's hot, literally, hold on, literally as hell. Okay, you have not known heat until you live through a summer in Arizona. Okay, it's not just, oh, it's 100 degrees, it's hot. No. Okay, record temperatures like 120 degrees. I've lived through being outside, working in the heat at 120 degrees temperature. How are you guys? Hi, thank you guys so much. And over there, remember, you're in the middle of the desert. If there are trees, palm trees are not native to Arizona. They planted all of those. Thank you, everyone. I see a lot of people here in the chat. Appreciate you. There are not that many trees, so there's not that much shade. It's hot as hell. It's hot. You're gonna be pissed off if you come from a place where you have 4 seasons. Okay, it's outrageously hot. You will feel what the pits of hell feel like. Okay, purgatory, you're in that. Okay, oh well, I'm just gonna be inside the whole time. I'm not gonna be outside. You're gonna feel the heat from inside. When you get in your car, you're gonna feel that shit. Hold on, let me block somebody really quick. Remove. Okay, so it's hot. Okay, so you have to make yourself as comfortable as possible, especially if you are going to be moving there permanently or if you're going to be living there during the Arizona summer. Arizona summer is no joke. Okay, that is the most important. That's at the top of my list. You have to understand this because there is no explanation that could possibly prepare you for that level of heat. Okay, if you prepare and if you have the funds available and you have a vehicle, there's a lot of things to go over with that vehicle. Number one, make sure that vehicle, hold on, now I gotta block somebody else. Hide user. Okay, cool, blocked. Make sure that vehicle is in great condition. You're gonna need that AC. Okay, I had a vehicle that the AC blew out for 3 weeks in the dead of summer. Okay, I spent hours with the maintenance people getting the vehicle serviced, and it worked for a couple of days. But when you're driving, after a certain amount of time, that AC is going to blow out. Okay. And this is another thing that you need to take into account. It's a valley. The city is very spread out. So it's going to take you a long time to get from one place to another. You're going to be in that hot ass car underneath the desert sun in the middle of the valley, in the pit of the valley. So your AC needs to work. You need to have gas. Do not catch yourself running out of gas in the desert. Oh, well, I'll just get off, when I only got a little bit left. No, sweetheart. Okay. Things are extremely spread out. It's not like in Chicago, you get off on the next exit. Boom, there's a gas station right there. Fill up, hop back on. No, it's not like that. You're in the middle of the desert. Okay. I don't care how you see it, how other people might describe it. It's still in the middle of the desert. And also there's a lot of traffic because there are a lot of people moving there, and they're doing construction as they go. So there's a lot of construction, there's a lot of traffic, and the heat is hot. Okay? Hell is hot. Okay? The last thing you want is to go through what I went through and be without AC for 3 weeks. Everyone else is driving past you with their windows up. You're the only weirdo with your windows down because you ain't got AC, and it's still hot as hell. Like, that does nothing. You want to know what you're going to feel? Dry as heat. Okay? A hot breeze. Okay? You're going to get sunburnt, suntan in your car. I don't care how much tint you have. You can have the darkest tint possible. Okay, you're still gonna get a little sunburn. Okay, I still have a little sunburn on my lip, and that just happened from in the morning. I came back at night and I said, "What the fuck is that? What's that?" Sunburn right here on my lip. You can't tell that much because I've been doing some treatments on it, and I thought I was the only one, y'all. I was embarrassed. I said, "Why do I look like that? What's going on?" And then I would see other women with the same thing on their lips, and I'm like, everybody's getting sunburned on their lip. Hell is hot. Okay? It's hot as fuck. In the summertime in Arizona, during the day, you would think people would be outside. No, baby. No. They're inside. Okay? It's like hibernating in reverse. Inside the house. Okay? Even like on a regular working day, you're going to drive and you're not going to see anybody out in the street, not even cars. Okay? People are locked away inside their home. They're not coming outside. That's how hot it is. Okay? It's literally a ghost town. Another thing. So, because it's so hot, you would think, well, what are these kids going to do? Okay, great question. Fantastic observation. 9 p.m., once the sun sets and the heat finally starts to go down a little bit, and now the heat is only at 195, that's okay. Okay, that's fine. That's perfect. That's when people start coming outside, and that's when you're gonna start seeing the soccer games, the baseball games, in the fields, and that's where you're gonna see the big groups of people at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. That's when all the people start coming out. And you want to know where the meetup spot is at? You want to know where you can actually see human beings? At Walmart. That's where they're at. Just had to block another person from my channel. Okay, it'll be 10 p.m. and pull up to Walmart, and that's when you finally see signs of life. People actually looking forward to do something, and it's to go to Walmart at 10 p.m. and then the parking lot will be full. Because they've been inside the house all day, and then now they finally put on their outfit. Where are they gonna go? Walmart. I'm not lying. Okay? Hell is hot. Remember that. All right. Don't run out of gas. We talk. Okay. So during the heat, be comfortable in your house. You're not gonna want to work outside. You're not going to want to work literally outdoors. So if your job, if you have a business, or if your job requires for you to drive there, leave your house, go outside, and come back, again, remember that your vehicle has to be in tip-top condition. Have your SPF or UPF shirts, because your arm is gonna get burnt. Have your sunglasses, have your big jug of water. Baby, you need to provide for yourself. Like, you need to prepare to survive. I'm not joking, okay? And when you are inside your home, like let's say you work from home, the best situation you could possibly place yourself in is working from home comfortably, because you get to be in your AC. You don't got to go outside and deal with all the zombies that are out there in the heat. So make sure you are comfortable inside your home. Whatever that means to you, make sure you got all your food, because you don't want to go outside to the store in the middle of the day when it's 120 degrees outside. Make sure you got all your food, get it delivered, okay? Have your entertainment, have whatever it is that you need for the day, because you're not going to want to leave your house for several days, okay? All right, so number 2, learn the grid. So usually people just, when they think about relocating and moving, they think about it in scattered ways. They don't think about the map. They don't think about actually learning the grid, because we all rely on GPS. Oh, whatever, I'll just have GPS take me. Oh, whatever, I'll just have the Uber take me. So you can take my advice or not, but something that really did help me, and it empowered me, it allowed me to have my head on a swivel and just know my way about, not look lost, was to learn the grid. So I found a map, one of those, like the foldable maps. It was old already. I don't know where I found it. They definitely don't sell them at the gas stations. I've seen some on Amazon. I got that as soon as I touched down, and I told myself, I'm going to learn the grid. I'm not going to allow someone else to know, hey, this girl is not from here. She doesn't know the lay of the land. She doesn't know where she's at. I didn't want that. I didn't want to go based off of a strange Uber driver to tell me where I'm at, where I'm going, none of that. I wanted to have a perfect idea of where I was at. So I learned the grid within about a day of me landing there. And now this has become a habit for me. Anywhere that I go, even if it's for vacation, I learn the grid. I want to know exactly where I'm at. I want to know where the good neighborhoods, the bad neighborhoods are, the east, the west, what are the demographics, what are the tendencies, what can I find on this side that I can't find on that side. So now it's just become a habit for me. So that's why it is point number 2 here, and that is learn the grid. So here's the grid. This is not the exact map that I used when I touched down. I kept it in my bag, and that was like my go-to. I felt so good having my foldable map. Like, it disintegrated after a while, but I didn't need it anymore because I had it right here. Okay. It also works when you're stuck on the highway, which they call the freeway. It helps to know exactly where you're at, because if you're stuck in traffic, which you will be for an extended amount of time, if you have the grid in your mind, you can know what other street to take. Maybe the highway is not the best, but you know about a main street that you can take. For example, Grand goes from downtown Phoenix, and you could take it to the west side. All right, just had to block somebody else. Okay, so let's go over the grid. So I know that because I have this frontal camera, this is probably not going to make sense, but you can just catch my drift right here, up and down. That separates east from west, and that is Central Avenue. Easy to remember. Central Avenue separates east from the West Valley, okay? And the Salt River, which is south right here, you see that? The Salt River separates the north from the south, okay? So east of Central Avenue, anything east of Central is the East Valley. What can we find on the East Valley? Bougie people, specifically Scottsdale. Scottsdale is beautiful. I love Scottsdale. Okay. Now, there's this little joke that only people from Phoenix would know, and that's that they call it Snotsdale because the people from Scottsdale, a lot of them, yes, they're snotty. Okay. Because they live in Scottsdale. I would be too if I owned a nice, gorgeous mansion in Scottsdale. Scottsdale, Arizona is one of the top, if not number one. I know it was number one a couple of years ago. I haven't recently checked it. Definitely in the top 5 retirement places in the entire United States. I'm talking about money, okay? People with money go and retire in Scottsdale. It is gorgeous. Not all Scottsdale is the same. If you're, let me see, where's Scottsdale? Scottsdale is right here on the map, right here. There's northern Scottsdale and there's lower Scottsdale. If you're in lower Scottsdale, which is closer to Central Phoenix, which is right here, Central Phoenix, which would make you closer to it's downtown Phoenix, closer to the airport. So lower Scottsdale, close right here to Central Phoenix. Questionable areas, let's just say that. Okay, you're still in Scottsdale. Okay, your address still says Scottsdale. All right, that's cool. You can brag about that. Okay, there's nothing wrong. You might live on a street. You might have yourself a nice little house, nice little ranch home, cool. Few houses down, there might be some questionable activity, okay? Just keep your head on a swivel. That's all I gotta say, keep your head on a swivel. East side, more expensive than the west side. Yes, definitely more expensive than the west side, more bougie. And yes, there is some sort of classism going on. Oh, where do you live? Oh, I live on the east side. Oh, okay. You live on the west? Oh, okay. Another tip, anything east is streets. Anything west of Central Avenue are the avenues. So if you tell someone that lives in the streets that you live in the avenues, yes, they just judged you. It is what it is. They judged you. If you live in the avenues, all right, you live in the hood, okay, it's a little cheaper over there. A lot of shit goes on. If you live on the east side, it's like, oh, okay, suddenly you're accepted now. Some other cool places on the east side is definitely Tempe, younger crowd, a lot of activity going on. There's the students at the college. That's really cool. Yeah, Tempe's pretty cool. Gilbert. Okay, so let's talk about Gilbert, and Gilbert is right here. So it is on the east side, a little south, right here, southeast. So if you are moving with a family, or if you plan on having a family, children, Gilbert is a nice place to live. And what makes it really nice is that they have a lot of free activities for the kids, whether it's a part of the public schooling or just in general, just activities that they have already available. A lot of them are free, and obviously the paid ones. But the neighborhoods are really nice. The homes are gorgeous. You see kids playing outside. Really nice neighborhoods for families. It ain't cheap, but it's nice. So let's talk about Mesa, which is right here. All right, right here. Southeast. So there's East Mesa and West Mesa. Now, if you want to see some questionable activity, go to West Mesa. If you want to see some bougie activity, then stay in East Mesa. The problem with Mesa is that there's a lot of religious activity going on over there. So if you don't subscribe to wanting to be converted or wanting to join a cult, then either stay out of Mesa and just mind your business and don't make yourself a target, meaning don't be visible. And what I mean by that is, yes, it does depend on your ethnicity, and yes, it does depend on how deep your skin color is. I'm calling a spade a spade. I'm just trying to help you out. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I want to talk about Queen Creek. So a lot of people have heard about Queen Creek right here. So southeast, you see, this is Central Phoenix, and then Queen Creek is all the way down here. So Queen Creek has been in development for several years, and it's already very much developed, but they're continuously developing. Hold on, guys. I'm taking off my earrings because these are, the clips. I gotta block somebody else. Okay. I get a lot of people who are international and they just be saying weird shit on my chat. That's why I didn't let a lot of people know that I was coming on live, because I needed to stay focused. Okay. Queen Creek. Queen Creek is beautiful. Another place where I have noticed that a lot of people from LA have been moving to, a lot of people from Chicago have been moving to Queen Creek. And that's because picture a gorgeous upper middle class suburb. There are some gated communities, and there are just some communities that are not gated. Okay, okay, cool. Queen Creek. So remember that I talked about how there aren't that many trees, and if there are, they were just recently planted, specifically the palm trees. So because Queen Creek is still, you see how much space that is? You see how much space that is? This is the city. You see how much space is over here? A lot of that is still just open desert, and that's where they're actively still constructing. Problem is, there's not that many trees. This is just my personal observation. I hated having to drive to Queen Creek. I haven't been over there in a long time because I just refuse to go to Queen Creek. Now, Queen Creek is beautiful. Queen Creek is gorgeous. Now, I have no problem with Queen Creek itself. It's just that it's hot. It's so hot, y'all. There's no shade, okay? I don't know why. As soon as I start going further south, having to go to Queen Creek, I just feel the heat more. Okay, that's just my own personal observation. It could just be me and my mental, but let me know in the comments if you feel the same. It's like that gap from Phoenix, when you get to Queen Creek, it's like that open land and you're just out there in the desert. It is hot, okay? But it's beautiful though, but it is gorgeous. So definitely look into Queen Creek if you have a family, if you're retiring, if you want to get yourself a beautiful home. They have everything out there. They're very hip. They have whatever it is that you would need, you know, like all the restaurants, entertainment, stuff like that. There is a nice big community in Queen Creek. It's beautiful. I have no problem with it other than the big land that is stretched out that you would have to travel through to arrive there. Okay, so something else that I wanted to talk about. All right, so we pretty much talked about the east. Okay, let's talk about Paradise Valley. Beautiful, gorgeous mansions. Fountain Hills, beautiful. Okay, you literally are gonna find a lot of hills, and I'm talking about those hills are sharp, and the streets become very narrow, but it's gorgeous. You guys definitely look up photos of Fountain Hills. The houses are a little bit closer together. Obviously, if you have a lot more money, then you're gonna be by yourself on a hill. Beautiful, beautiful. I don't go over there that much just because I just feel it's a little too tight, but it is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. So now let's talk about the avenues. What I already just said. All right, you're in the avenues, you're gonna see some shit. It might be a little bit cheaper. I have known about people that were born and raised on the East Valley, but they wanted to buy a big house. They had a big RV and they wanted the space, you know, for the RV to park it within their home, and they were not going to be able to get the sides of the home that they wanted for the price that they wanted on the East Valley. So they took their asses to the West Valley. Hate the West Valley, but they were able to get the home that they wanted. Now, everything that you want on the West Valley, like, it's gonna be obtainable. Okay, it's not just, it's not just dry land. Like, you're gonna find all the amenities that you want, but it's the avenues. Okay, that's all I can say. If you don't believe me, take a drive, take your ass from the East Valley, and go to the West Valley. Okay, no shade, no shade. Okay, you want to save some money? Go to Glendale. It's cool. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on over there. They got the Cardinal Stadium. Okay, it's nice. They got stuff going on over there, but it's the West Valley. All right, I'm just trying to get you in tune, and I'm just trying to prepare you in case you're thinking about relocating temporarily, if you're gonna visit, or if you're thinking about permanently moving. All right, so let's talk about Peoria. Peoria is right here. Let me highlight it for you. Let me tell you something about Peoria. The Peoria in Arizona, located right here in the West Valley, the Peoria in Arizona is 100 times nicer than the Peoria in Illinois. I said what I said. I'm never going to take it back. A fact is a fact. Peoria, Arizona is beautiful. Okay, the houses are ginormous. There's the mountains. It's beautiful. It's a nice place to stay, for sure. Absolutely no comparison to Peoria, Illinois. Okay, I don't care who got triggered. It is what it is. Buckeye. I personally don't like Buckeye. I didn't really like the culture out there. I just, as a Mexican woman, I just didn't feel like I fit in. But there are a lot of Mexicans in Buckeye. The reason that I felt like I didn't fit in was because I guess I'm more urban. And over there, it's a little bit more spread out. It's a little bit more country for sure. As you can see, the space right here is Buckeye and Goodyear. So Goodyear and Buckeye, definitely be careful over there. A lot of questionable activity goes on in Goodyear. A lot of people hide out in Goodyear, okay? A lot of gay for pay activity goes on in Goodyear. You want to know who's in Goodyear? Listen, my heart goes out to him. I release him to his healing. The actor from Empire, Bryce Gray. Last time I heard about it, he was in Goodyear. You guys can look it up for yourself and see the type of activity that he's been engaging in Goodyear. That's a good example of the kind of stuff that you would find in Goodyear. Buckeye. If you find a home in Buckeye, make sure it is in the neighborhood Verrado, Verado. It might have two R's. I think it's just one. Verrado, Verado. That's a nice neighborhood. There are a lot of transplants that live in Verrado. I met somebody that was from Illinois or from Indiana, I think he was. Younger couple. They have a family, and it was in a nice area. So if that's what you're looking for, look into Verrado. All right, so I think that pretty much covers the map. All right. El Mirage is this big. All right, you blink, you're in and out of it. That's it. El Mirage. Sun City. Sun City is a retirement community. So Sun City is a very big retirement community in Arizona. Not as big as the Villages in Florida. They are comparable though. Keep that in mind if you're thinking about moving to Arizona when it comes to retirement. So look into Sun City and then look into the Villages in Florida. Litchfield Park. There are a lot of military people that live in Litchfield Park, and there is a lot of farmland. So if that's something that you're looking for to have land, definitely Litchfield Park is nice. You definitely do hear the airplanes, the military airplanes a lot over there. Let's see. All right, so I think that pretty much covers all of that. There is Surprise. Surprise is nice. Surprise is pretty big, and the houses are gorgeous. Like, I can't stress out enough how beautiful a lot of these houses are. Not all of them, not all of them, which brings me to my next point. If you're moving from a big city such as New York, LA, Chicago, if you're trying to get out the hood and are going to Arizona, do yourself a favor, do your research, save your money, make sure your credit is good. You don't want to go from the hood in wherever you're at and end up in the hood in Arizona. Please do not do that. Please do not do that. No. Land somewhere nice. Make yourself comfortable. One of the reasons that a lot of people moved to the state of Arizona was because of the real estate. Because you were able, this was many years ago, this was at least 10 years ago. Now everything is a lot more expensive, but there's still some opportunity. You still have the opportunity to buy a bigger home or have a larger apartment and have the amenities that you otherwise would not be able to have in an expensive urban city such as, like Chicago. You do not want to go and move to some shitty place in the middle of Arizona. You do not. I'm telling you this out of love. Okay? Do your research. Research the community if you're going to move into an apartment, preferably a gated community, a neighborhood. Look at it through Google Earth. Join the Facebook groups in that community, that area, whatever. Do all of your research. You want to make yourself as comfortable as possible because just like how I explained earlier, hell is hot, okay? That weather is gonna be burning and you want to be as comfortable as possible where you live. You're gonna spend a lot of time at home. You're gonna spend a lot of time at home because that's gonna lead me to my next point. There's not a lot of stuff to do, okay? So you want to be safe, you want to be happy, and you want to be comfortable. So do your research. All right, learn the grid. We talked about where to move. Cool. Okay, next point. Yes, Arizona is racist, okay? Let's call a spade a spade. Arizona is racist. So if you are African American moving to Arizona, specifically if you are used to having more culture, more diversity, live in a neighborhood where there's Mexicans, there's Puerto Ricans, there's blacks, there's white, you're probably not going to see all of that camaraderie in Arizona. Everyone sticks to themselves, okay? Everyone sticks to themselves. Now, something that's cool is that in Tempe, if you remember, we talked about how Tempe is like more young, more hip. There's the students, a lot of people in their 20s, 30s, early 40s. Part of this community, but I did see them on Facebook and on Instagram. So there are groups such as like running groups. I think it's called like Black Arizona Runs. So it's a group of younger African American people that get together. I think it's like every Saturday or something. Don't quote me on it. Do your own research. And they just run. There's people that like to run marathons. They all get together. They work out together. And they look like they have a great time. So find your people that way. And then a lot of those people obviously are from other places. And, they get together. They meet up in Tempe along the lake. So that's something cool to do. Find your people. The Mexicans are different, okay? I'm Mexican. I'm a Mexican from Chicago, all right? Loud, people are lively, people play their music, people are fun, people talk shit, okay? That's not the same vibe in Arizona. Not the same vibe at all, okay? I was shooketh. When I saw them for the first time, I said, these ain't my people. Listen, I love my people, okay? But people act differently depending on where they live, right? The Mexicans in Arizona are very, very different, okay? They keep to themselves. They're not really that lively. I think, this is my theory, I could be wrong, because Arizona is racist, it's not that, in my opinion, I don't think that the Mexicans are trying to assimilate. I think they're just trying to keep a low profile. They don't play music loud, I was like, what? Like, you guys are out here deep. What do you mean you don't play? Like, they don't play music. They're not lively. They're not having parties like how I'm used to in Chicago. Like, they don't do none of that. Like, this is it. You walk past, You drive past a large group of Mexicans, and this is what you're going to hear right here. Wasn't that creepy? Wasn't that creepy? That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay? It was really different. And I don't know, I remember I walked inside a Quick Trip. Sidebar, Quick Trip is better than Wawa. I said what I said. Quick Trip is better than Wawa. Not every Quick Trip. All right, some of these Quick Trips are in the hood, but they're cool because they got a lot of stuff. But anyway, I'm a friendly person. You walk inside, I walked inside a Quick Trip, and then the cashier automatically greeted me. I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, someone made contact with me. Wow, this is so cool. So I said, hola. And, you know, I walked in and I said hi to the guy. And then there was this lady that was coming out. So she was kind of like in between to the side. Ooh, baby. And she was a Mexican lady. She gave me the dirtiest look I have ever seen in my entire life just because I said hi to that boy. That kid was like 16 years old. This lady was walking with what I think was her husband. Why is she looking at me crazy? Just because I'm happy, bitch? Just because I want to be friendly and nice? And just because I'm happy that another human being, you know, interacted with me? She gave me the dirtiest look of her entire life. What the hell? They're different. They're different. Okay? I don't know what it is. Find your people. That's all I want to say. Find your people. Now, let's talk about the natives in Arizona. And by the natives, I mean the people that are born and raised in Arizona. I did make a couple friends. Well, fine, maybe just one friend. I only have one friend that she's born and raised in Arizona. She's an older lady. She's cool. She's nice. But she said it out her own mouth. She's like, yeah, I know people from Arizona are weird. We're kind of weird. I don't know why. I don't know why. It might be the heat. It might just be a cultural thing. A lot of native Arizonas, well, most natives to Arizona do not like outside people coming in. They don't like greetings from Morocco. Oh my God, thank you. I want to go to Morocco. Thank you so much. They don't like the people from New York coming in, and they definitely don't like the people from LA coming in. Oh, that's my dog. He just moved stuff. Okay, they don't like that because they're coming in and gentrifying, changing things, making traffic a lot worse, and raising the cost of living. They definitely don't like people from New York because people from New York are fast, right? And I have heard this straight out of the mouths of the native Arizonians, and that's that people from New York tend to boss them around, whether it be on the phone or in person. They want to tell the natives what to do, what time to do it. Come on. And you know, that sense of entitlement, that being rude, they don't like that at all. They don't like that at all. So if you're from New York and you're planning on moving to Arizona, if you want your life to be a little bit easier, and if you're gonna have to deal with customer service, a cashier, somebody, then it's best to be nicer, be a little bit more patient, because people from Arizona, they have their own entitlement going on. They're from there. Other people are moving in, right? So you depend on the cashier. You depend on the customer service. So guess what? You have to conform to their speed. They don't care that you're going to go over there and talk to customer service. They don't care that you're going to talk to the manager. The manager's just like them. That's why I say, make yourself comfortable inside your home. Make sure you have all of your resources. It's best to work from home. It's best to work doing your own business. It's best to be completely independent, because them people out there don't give a fuck. When I tell you that the bank, Chase Bank, did not open until like 10 or 11 in the morning on a weekday. They didn't. There was nothing bad going on. It was not a federal holiday. I was waiting to go to the bank. I needed to do something before I went to work. They didn't open. They didn't answer their phone. They didn't put up a sign. Hey, this bank is going to be closed until... No. No. No explanation, no whatever. They don't care who's mad. They don't care. Okay? They don't care. Native Arizonans, I don't know if it's Arizonans or Arizonians, but let's just say the natives to Arizona. Okay? They're not go-getters. Okay? Because remember, they've lived in the desert for such a long time. And that is a place of retirement, quiet, peaceful. That's what it is. You're in the fucking desert. Where are you going to go? Right? People from urban cities, they're used to higher prices. They're used to having to juggle multiple things at once. That's not the vibe with them. They're not go-getters. They're not really motivated. Remember the cost of the minimum wage is, I'm not exactly sure what it is, but the minimum wage is very low. They're complacent. They're flaky. If you hire someone, let's say to come work at your house and they're a native to Arizona, there's a 40% chance that they'll actually show up. Okay? Because remember, we talked about how far spread out the valley is. So if it's not, they don't care about money. They don't care about making money. Remember, they're not motivated. They really factor in how much gas this is going to take. They factor in, is it, it's too hot. They don't feel like going. They might talk a good game. Listen to me now. They might talk a good game on the phone or in your face. Shake your hand. But a lot of them are not going to show up. That's a big problem. But if you're a go-getter, this is a big opportunity, especially if you're a business and you offer services, because you could fill that void, right? Whatever it is, whatever service, business you have, remember, where there is lack, there is opportunity. So keep that in mind, okay? So the natives... Hey, do you like Brazil? I've never been to Brazil, but I definitely do want to go there for sure. So the natives to Arizona, we've discussed this. They walk slow, okay? They don't have good conversation. Half the time, they're not happy that you're here. They're okay with the people from Chicago because Chicago, remember, is a Midwestern town, and we say our please and thank yous, and we're pretty chill. We're in the middle. You know, we're definitely go-getters, but we're not abrasive, right? We definitely still got that energy, but we're not too aggressive. I'll just say that. So yeah, tread lightly. Not even tread lightly. It's just like, don't have high expectations for the natives to Arizona, especially when they're in a customer service space. Do not have high expectations. Be as independent as possible. Set up your own life how you want it, because dealing with them, oh my God, let's say you're in a rush, you're just trying to get some lunch, you're going from one job to another job, you stop at a restaurant, they might take their sweet ass time. They don't give a fuck. You might say, hey, I'm in a rush. They don't care. I want you to feel this, okay? Similar to my experience with the Mexicans, okay? When you speak to a native Arizonan, a lot of the times not their vibration, their energy is just and stuck, okay? That's just the vibe. This is what it feels like. Just like that, okay? I'm gonna give you another example. I was at an event, and it was like a modeling event, and I had met this photographer. So I'm like, okay, cool, you know, I'm motivated. I was like, all right, bet, you know, I have a photographer right here. Let me talk to her. Let me tell her, hey, you know what, how about you and we collaborate? I'm looking to get my photos done. I want to update my portfolio. This was her. I only do landscapes. She was supposed to have been Latin just like me. I said, oh, okay, that's fine. Well, do you know any photographers that do portraits? I'm looking to, you know, update my modeling portfolio. No. I don't work with other photographers. Hater. Hater. Okay? She was a hating ass bitch. No motivation. Didn't want to talk anymore. Didn't pursue the conversation. Not friendly whatsoever. Not at all. And you're going to find that a lot. That's why I say find your people. You're going to stick within your own nuclear family, and you're going to mind your business, and you're going to stay inside the house. I'm just trying to tell you. All right, let's get into the next point. The food sucks. All right, there we go. I just said it. The food sucks. And no, this is not a video to bash it. This is definitely just a very realistic take. Towards the end of the video, I'm going to give you all of the pros of living in Arizona. Okay, don't worry, we're going to get there. But right now, let's talk about the food. The food sucks. Okay, if you're from Chicago and if you really like El Milagro tortillas, and if you are planning on seriously moving to Arizona, I'm telling you right now, there are no El Milagro tortillas. None. None. Okay? And no, there are no equivalents. There are no similarities that you're going to find at the grocery store. There are none. Okay? That's why we discussed how the Mexicans be acting out there earlier. Okay? The best course of action, if you like El Milagro tortillas, is to pack tortillas in your maleta and ship them. A lot of them. Okay? You got to prepare. You got to prepare. I'm just trying to help you out. Okay? I wish I knew this. Okay? I miss my tortillas. Y'all, they don't have fucking tortillas. They don't have Mexican tortillas. Okay, I'm trying to tell you, the Mexicans are not like other Mexicans. Okay, no shade to the Mexicans there. We're going to talk a little bit more about the tribes later. But you're not going to find El Milagro tortillas. Okay, it just is what it is. I'm sorry. All right. So that's number one. There are Portillos, if you like Portillos, you know, from Chicago. It depends on the location, entirely up to your own taste buds. It's all right. It's not Chicago. If you like jerk chicken, I would say read the reviews, both Yelp and Google. Look at the photos, trust your intuition, and just test it out. Test out what you like. Me personally, no other food matches Chicago. None at all. None at all. So most of the time I would say 99% of the time I just cook at home. And yeah, I'll eat out every once in a while. Let me tell you where I go. So these are just some places, and yes, three of these places are food chain restaurants, and they're okay. They're consistently decent. Okay. Yogi's Grill. I actually like it there. Okay, they have bowls. They have the Arizona bowl is the one that I like. It's white rice. They have some crab. They have a really good sauce. So that one's pretty decent. Is it cheap? No, it's not cheap. I think it's about $16-17 for a bowl. It's filling for, you know, one time. It's not going to be enough for you to save for later. Crab Shack, y'all. It was actually decent. I like the shrimp po' boy, both grilled and fried. There is a place, it's a Mexican restaurant inside the gas station. Yes, inside the gas station. Okay, I went to a lot of places. All right, this has been the only consistent one that I have liked. So it's El Gordo inside gas stations. There are several all throughout. My two favorites are in Glendale and the one in Tempe. So you go inside the gas station and then the restaurant is right there. So consistently decent. Also depends on your own taste buds on what it is that you get. There's this place called La Piñata, and it's a restaurant. So if you're looking for like a date night, that would be a nice place. Takeout, obviously you can do that as well. They have a big pizza where you can get shredded beef. That's like I don't know, it's a Tex-Mex thing. The shredded beef is all right, so that's okay. And just test out other places. Ono Hawaiian Barbecue, that's another food chain place. It was decent. Haven't had that in a while. I really like Yogi's Grill. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that, you guys. Oh, if you like waters, aguas frescas, food that is already hot, like a hot, I forgot what you call it, but you go inside the grocery store and they already have the hot food done and you just request it. Food City. Food City has that. So that's pretty decent. Not all the food cities now. Again, use Google and use Yelp. Look up the food cities and look at that location that's closest to you and look through the images, because not all of them are the same and you're not always going to find the same stuff. So I personally like the food cities where I can buy aguas frescas, which is like they'll have pineapple, they'll have hibiscus water, lemon, watermelon. Those are decent. Those are fire because it's hot outside and you want to drink something. Those are good. Horchatas, they'll have iced coffees. Those are really good. And then they'll have hot foods. And then the hot foods are obviously based off of the weight. And I think it's like $8.99 per pound or something like that. They'll be having some good stuff. Their rice, their chicken, it's not bad. It's not bad. So that's another little insider tip. All right. So we already talked about the New York, LA, Chicago people. We talked about how these natives don't really fuck with us like that. We talked about that. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the Yaquis. So Yaquis, Yaki, is a tribe from Sonora, Mexico. So a lot of them are in Arizona, they're in Phoenix, that area, specifically in Guadalupe. So Guadalupe is a protected area. It's very small. I didn't write it down here. It's in Phoenix. It's Guadalupe. It's like literally this big, and it's like one main street, and there's a lot of small houses there. Basically, the Yaquis live in Guadalupe, and it's a protected area for them. So throughout many years, several decades, there have been many attempts to gentrify it and to overtake that land. But up until now, last time that I checked, is that it's still for the Yaqui people. So unless you are a native Yaqui person whose family, the generations of your family have been there and have been homeowners in Guadalupe, get the fuck out. Now, it's not a sundown town. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say respect the people there, because they have really been working and fighting for their land. Y'all, it's this big. All right, it's this big. Just let them have it. Just let them have it. I read so many things that go on with the local law enforcement there that are just making it really difficult for the people who have been living there and the generations before them that have been living there. They just want to overtake that land, right? So it's really sad that it's going on, but the people that are living there, they fought for that. They fought for that. So I respect them. I have gone through Guadalupe a few times, not too much, just because, like I said, it's small. So you pass by there and it's really gorgeous. Like if you have the time, drive through there and see the bus stops. They're so cute. It looks so vintage, very old Western. It's so cute. I respect them. I respect them for what they've done for their community. And, they stood on business, and that's where they're at right now. The murals are gorgeous. It's a small area, bro. Like, just let them have it. Like, just leave them alone. So that's why you will see a lot of businesses in and outside of Guadalupe, not just there, but all throughout the Phoenix metro area that say Yaqui, because they are a part of that tribe, the Yaquis, that come from Sonora, Mexico. So I just wanted to include that. Okay. Next point. So my recommendation to you is to watch Tales from the Streets, specifically the stories that are about the Phoenix metro area. And the Phoenix metro area is all of this. It's not just Phoenix, the city. It's Glendale, Peoria, Scottsdale, Fountain Hills, Chandler, Mesa, Tempe. It's everything. It's everything on this map. That's considered the Phoenix metro area. So the nature of the homeless people in Phoenix metro is very different. It is very different. Drugs are intense. So I would say definitely watch Tales from the Streets so you can get a better idea. Because it's a very warm state and it does not rain that much, it's easier for homeless people to survive because they can just sleep outside most of the time, right? Because it's so hot out and because it is a very vehicle reliant town, if you get caught walking, everybody driving is going to think that you're homeless, okay? Especially if you're walking with a little backpack, a big backpack, bags, multiple bags. You get looked at like, oh my God, look at that person. They don't have a car, or that they're probably homeless. Especially if you walk with a dog, because that's just the nature of things. A bike, if you're riding a bike, remember, let's get back to how I talked about how Arizona can be very racist and very classist. Now, if you're riding a bicycle, a lot of people automatically think that you're homeless. There are a lot of crazy drivers out there. So even in my own experience, you guys, I've seen it and I've lived it. I would just ride my bike in the neighborhood until I got rid of that bike. I said, I don't want this bike no more, because they look at you like you're so beneath them just because you're riding a bike, just because you're walking on a main street. Now, within the neighborhood, that's cool. But once you're on the main street, people think you're shit. People think you're shit, okay? Because there's so many homeless people out there, they automatically think that you're one of them and they look down on you. So let's say you are driving your bicycle and then the car wants to turn or wants to keep going. They're not going to wait for you to go. They're going to pull up a little bit closer to you to the point where they might just hit you. They don't care. They don't care. Road rage is a very big thing in Arizona. It's a very big thing in Arizona. Road rage mixed with the heat, people being pissed off, mixed with traffic, mixed with racism. Just think about it now. Now, I'm not trying to scare anybody, not at all. I'm just trying to keep your head on a swivel, okay? Let me see. We talked about that. A lot of drugs. That's a fact. Okay, so now let's talk about, now that we're talking about the highways, y'all, the thirst is real, okay? You have never in your life seen more thirsty women specifically until you see some shit in these Facebook groups for the Phoenix metro areas, y'all. Remember how I told you things are so spread out? Remember how I told you people keep to themselves? Remember how I told you people are really not that friendly? So how do you go about meeting people to date? A lot of people spend a lot of the time driving, specifically on the highways. It's really, really hard to avoid being on the highway. Like, you have to take the highway because everything is so spread out. You got to get from one side of the valley to the other. So, and I've seen this, I've seen women do this a lot more than the men. If a woman is driving and she's on the highway and then she sees a guy, I don't know why you would want to be peeking into somebody's shit while you're driving. Your eyes are supposed to be on the road. Looking, checking a guy out in the car, and if she thinks that he looks good, everybody has tint. You know, most of the people have tint because of how hot it is, because of the sun. Let's say she thinks that the guy driving that black pickup truck looked good. When I tell you she will get a detailed description on that vehicle, go home, and she'll probably chase him on the highway, try to get his attention. And if that doesn't work, guess what she's gonna do? She's gonna take her ass home. She's gonna hop on Facebook, go into a Facebook group, either Arizona or Phoenix or whatever area she was in, and say, hey, if you were driving on X highway at 4:30 p.m. going east, you have a black pickup truck, your license plate is da 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 da, you were wearing a blue hat. I just want to tell you that you're so hot and I would love to take you out on a date. My treat. Do you know how many times I fucking seen that shit? A lot. A lot. Okay? The thirst is real. These bitches is thirsty. Okay? I'ma call a spade a spade. I don't care who gets mad. That's why I put it in the description, put it in the title, trigger warning. Okay? That's what it is. Okay? That's how they go about it. It is what it is. Y'all. And then you would think that other people commenting would say, girl, like, chill, you're being very pygmisha like. No, they encourage this. This is the culture out there. This is the culture. It's I hope you find him. Oh my god, he sounds so hot. Yes, girl. Bumping this so that you can find your man. Y'all, the thirst is real. The thirst is real. Leads me to my next point. So remember how I said that people are bored over there? There's a lot of couples over there. Okay, so there's a lot of swingers. All right, there's a lot of swingers. It just is what it is. All right, so watch out for that. If they're natives to AZ, or if they've been there for a long time, and if they give you any hint that they're bored and they're looking at you a certain way, run. Unless you're into that, but run, okay? Because they about that life, okay? All right, well, now let's get to the upsides, all right? I'm sorry that was, a little traumatic, but I'm just trying to prepare you, okay? I'm just trying to prepare you. The upsides. So there are many upsides of moving from a large metro city, hustle and bustle, expensive city where you can see a lot of crime, where it's very rowdy, very noisy, and you just want to get your mind right. You just want that peace and quiet. Definitely Arizona is one of those places because it's quiet. It's the desert. Another reason that it's quiet is that that's been the culture, just the way of life for the native people. Even throughout all this time that people have been moving in, they like to maintain that stillness and that quiet. So don't make a lot of noise out there. They don't like that. People go there to retire. People go there to get peace of mind, to raise their children. You're not going to hear that much noise unless you are in a very rowdy place. And like I said before, don't move there. Don't move to a rowdy place, okay? You want to get better. You want to place yourself in a very nice position. You want to be put up. Don't go somewhere where it's rowdy. So it's quiet. That's the upside. The upside is that it's very quiet. It's very peaceful. Scottsdale is absolutely gorgeous. Very peaceful. Eerily quiet. Eerily quiet. I'm talking about even inside your own house, it's quiet. That's what people like. Okay, not being loud. Unfortunately, I'm a loud person, but I don't know. I had to tone it down a little bit. It's always sunny. It definitely is always sunny. Most of the days are sunny. It is especially better if you have the amenity of having a pool in your backyard or in your apartment complex, because it does get hot and again you get bored, so you want to be able to have that that access. It's always sunny. You want to enjoy the weather once it's at a comfortable state, whether in the evenings or in the wintertime when the temperature's like in the 80s, 90s. It'll drop down pretty low sometimes. But once you find that happy medium for you, it's really nice to just enjoy the sun, enjoy the pleasant weather, and have a pool. So again, prepare. You're going to thank me later. but definitely prepare. I would definitely recommend having a pool. Large homes. Again, we talked about the real estate. Have the opportunity to buy a home that is bigger, maybe would cost you less than living somewhere else. Definitely do your research. You have the opportunity to have a larger home in a nicer neighborhood. The houses are not that close together as they would be, for example, in Chicago. It's quieter. And when you live in a nice neighborhood, a cul-de-sac, it's more family oriented. So it's safer for the children. It's safer for you. Peace of mind. You can walk in and out of your house and you're not going to have to worry about a stray bullet hitting you. Very private, you know. So that's definitely the upside. That peace, that tranquility. Nobody knows you. You just go about your business. That's it. Another upside is that the winters are gorgeous, y'all. When everybody else in the north in Chicago, when they got -20, baby, you chilling. 65 is cold for me now. 60, anything below 86 degrees, baby, I'm cold. I'm cold at anything below 86 degrees. The winters are gorgeous, and winter is a time, it starts cooling down in late October. Late October, the perfect time to go up to Sedona. So it's about an hour and a half drive from Phoenix to Sedona. It's a straight shot, about an hour and a half, and that's beautiful. That's the perfect time to go to Sedona from November to about February, or from November to about March, because March is when it started getting really high. It hit 100 degrees in Phoenix. Sedona is about 10 degrees less than Phoenix because Sedona is obviously, you know, higher altitude. So I would say between early November to late February is the best window to go to Sedona. And that's a perk. That's a perk to be able to have such close access. You just take a 1 hour and a half drive up to Sedona. Beautiful vortex, spiritual vortex, a very spiritual healing place. And one time is not enough. There are so many different parks, so many trails, a lot of shops, beautiful family activity, or even just you, if you have a dog, there are dog trails that are easily accessible for them. So that's a nice amenity that you can consider having, you know, just a drive, an hour and a half up. It's a good place to retire. We talked about that. Great place to have your family. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that within these neighborhoods, there are a lot of parks, or what they call malls, right? Parks, greenery, and the kids can just play there. The kids can just ride their bikes in the neighborhood. That's nice. Because it's so hot during the day in the summertime, these parks are beautiful, but they're empty. Only at nighttime, and only once the weather starts getting cooler is when people start coming out more. Obviously, parks are gorgeous. The neighborhoods are absolutely beautiful. They just look like a upper middle class neighborhood, suburban neighborhood. Nature is beautiful, mountains, and I've shared a lot of photos and videos on my Instagram. My Instagram is the same as my YouTube. I am Yesenia Alvarez, so check those out. I'm gonna keep sharing some more. The mountains are absolutely beautiful. You get to see those when you're driving, or depending on where you live. Desert foothills, beautiful. Awatuki, beautiful. Wildlife, there's different types of animals. You know, there's the lizards that you see, they're just regular. The javelinas, there's bobcats, y'all. There's a lot of animals. There's the wild deer. Yeah, there's a lot of animals, and it's really nice. A lot of people have tortoises outside as pets. You might live in what feels like just a regular neighborhood, and then 2 houses down, one of your neighbors has goats, has sheep, has chickens, you know. It's cool, it's nice. People have nice land. Because it's the mountains, a lot of people purposely move to the outskirts or to an area where there's more land. They'll have horses. That's really nice. So it's cool if you want to get away from the big city. It's definitely cool if you want to hide. There's a lot of people that are hiding out over there. All right. If you want to get away, a lot of people go there. Okay. Um, get away from the noise of the city. Get away from all of that tension. So yeah, that's what I would say are the upsides. Now, I'm not saying that there's absolutely nothing to do. There's a Top Golf, okay? There's the restaurants. There are some things downtown that you can do. The downtown, it's nothing like Chicago, okay? It's nothing like a big city, okay? It is what it is. It's not that big, okay? Downtown Phoenix is not that big at all. Okay, there's the two stadiums that are next to each other. That's cool. Phoenix Suns, and then the baseball team. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Oh, I almost forgot, y'all. Almost forgot. We talked about how vehicle reliant it is, right? Okay. Now, if you don't have a vehicle and you have to rely on Uber and Lyft, number one, it's going to be expensive. But number two, if you're going to rely on the buses and the trains in Phoenix, please know it is going to take forever and a day for you to get to your destination. You're going to get there eventually. You're going to get there. Okay? But it is nothing like a big city. Okay, you would think so. You would think that they would be a little bit more advanced, especially with all of these people that are moving into the city. Thousands of people are moving into the state of Arizona per day. Okay, per day. You would think that they would do a better job with their public transportation system. They don't. It takes about, it depends on where you go. For example, me, I've traveled from Glendale to, was it Mesa last time? Glendale to Mesa, public transportation, 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours back. So if you don't have a vehicle, please know you're going to be on that electric train for a minute. They call it the light rail. They call it the light rail. I call it the electric train because that's what it is. It is cool. Yeah, they have good AC. That's a fact. They have good AC. Definitely keep your head on a swivel. Definitely have your own source of entertainment. You know, your phone, your book, whatever it is that you're gonna do, because you're gonna be on that motherfucker for a minute. Okay, you're gonna be on there for a while. So I just thought I'd put that out there. And yeah, that about covers everything, you guys. It's a great time if you're prepared and don't expect much. You know, just the nature is beautiful. There are some places to go. You know, the shopping is really nice. The Top Golf, they have some good restaurants. Definitely try those out. They have some clubs in Scottsdale. That's cool. Yeah, that's basically what it is, you know. It's not a really rowdy place. It's definitely a place to unwind, to relax, and to retire. Make your money, mind your business. All right, guys. Well, I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for sticking it out with me. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. You can follow me, Instagram, TikTok. I am Yesenia Alvarez. Thank you guys so much for the likes. I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.